I'm delighted to say Gene Yu is with us now, founder and CEO of Blackpanda, joins us around the desk here at the SGX. Gene, always a pleasure and welcome. First of all, can you start by characterizing the threat level as it applies to state and non-state actors out here in this region, and what does Blackpanda bring to the table in terms of IR1, this comprehensive cybersecurity solution? How do you aim to scale and make it more affordable?
Thank you, Sri. Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the first aspect I would share is that a lot of people focus in the news around state-level attacks, and certainly this isn't an issue. But us in the private sector, we need to look at it the same way as though we were dealing with a physical state-level attack. If a government and the military want to attack your company on an individual level, there's probably not a lot that you can do, and not a lot that private sector can do to protect you either, right? We're all going to just get out of the way in that situation. So really, with Blackpanda, we're focusing more on the non-state actors. We do from time to time see state-level attacks in some of our largest companies, largest clients out here in Singapore and the region. But by and large, as a private sector company, we're focused on the lower level criminals, so to speak, the people that are robbing companies of money, coming in and hitting them with ransomware attacks, encrypting the whole networks, extorting them for $500,000 in Bitcoin. So that's really where our focus is on general crime when it comes to the digital space. And for us at Blackpanda, what we did was we combined a cybersecurity insurance company and an emergency response service company. And so we essentially productized emergency response into a product like insurance to make it affordable across the masses. And that's the thing that we've been supported with this latest strategic financing round led by Singtel, Gaw Capital, and W.I. Harper, is to continue this mission that we have of providing affordable digital emergency response to everyone, okay, to the mass market.
All right, so Gene, which gets to the money question, right? The new round of fundraising, what are you doing with that money?
Predominantly investing in our technology. We do have something called an attack surface management platform, which I like making a physical analogy. It's like the police camera that we have on the streets here in Singapore, the unblinking eye looking outside of the houses and showing you where your open doors and windows are. Because we're an insurance company, we don't actually want to see our companies get breached. We're incentivized actually that nothing happens, right? So we provide this technology at no cost with our IR1 solution to help the customer patch up all the open doors and windows. A little bit like the broken window theory that Rudy Giuliani made famous in New York, back in the day, about patching up these obvious gaps to essentially detract the attention away from the cyber attackers to your target in the first place.
Right, so this is sort of like a cyber alarm system. That's what you're talking about.
That's a bit, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Notifying, here are the gaps, why don't we patch these up, prevent those bypassers of the billions of people on the internet that can see you. Let's not attract them to your window or your open door and have them take a look inside. The other major aspect I would say of our company using the resources is with a partnership with Singtel itself, right? So Singtel has a product called Singtel Elevate, which we're partnered with and proudly subsidized by the Singapore government 90%. In order to make a cybersecurity solution affordable for SMBs. That's one of the toughest things in cybersecurity right now, is how do you solve for a solution that is affordable for the smaller companies? Almost all cybersecurity products and services are quite expensive, and usually only enterprise can afford them.
So, which raises an interesting question, right? You would think that the smaller businesses would be more vulnerable than the big guys, right? But are they more targeted, though?
Great question, Martin.
Yeah.
So two sides of it. They are more vulnerable from just a straight security standpoint, but they're less targeted, and so there's a little bit of security through obscurity. But I would offer that when the lower level criminals are attacking companies, they may not have the skill sets to go after the fortresses that are around the large enterprise. So what they're doing instead in the internet is they're targeting security flaws. They're running scans to look for something like, for example, a remote desktop protocol port being opened, which is akin to having your front door wide open.
They're looking for easy marks then.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like a regular robber criminal, they may not be targeting your house, but they want to target front doors that are wide open because it's easy, right? They're looking for lower hanging fruit. They're a business as well. They're looking for the least amount of effort for the highest amount of ROI.
On the upper end of the scale, Gene, how vulnerable are the operators of critical infrastructure? Because we hear a lot about the risk, and it's just a matter of time before we see a cyber 9/11 or a cyber Pearl Harbor. I think it's how it's been characterized. How major a risk is that?
I think quite major, Sri, and I don't mean to be alarmist, but governments, we talk about at that level, governments around the world are out there known to be accumulating what we call zero-day cyber malware. Okay, and they're even acquiring and purchasing these in the market. 0 days are a type of cyber malware that a vulnerability that hasn't been discovered before. So they buy them and hold them on their shelves, so to speak, so that in the event of needing it for major strategic action, they can unload these payloads and most likely take down critical infrastructure or other strategic targets. But I would share with the public, though, is that while these are very spectacular ideas, that's not really where I think the main problem in cyber is today. It's really about the general public and understanding this is the physical security world now translated into the digital world. And so at our level, those type of topics are happening at government to government level, right? What we need to worry about is the lower level criminal who's wandering around the street that's going to rob us and potentially destroy our companies or our livelihoods and our staff's livelihoods because they've encrypted your entire network and don't allow your business to continue.
Gene,
right?
we are heading into what could be a deeply polarizing political cycle in the elections in the US. Then, of course, there are elections more locally in Japan, October the 27th. To what degree could cyber attacks proliferate? To what degree could misinformation and cyber misinformation be part of an even broader, deepening polarization?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's already happening, right?
It's already happening,
Yeah.
right? If we look at the previous elections and the allegations of Russian interference, we've already seen this pattern recognition out there. We know how powerful social media is these days in terms of influencing general public opinion. As technology continues to advance and our worlds become more and more in the digital space, we are already, I always make the comment, living in some version of the metaverse, right? Whether through our devices, maybe more of a 2D version of it, but we are living in the digital world. And as our information and our communication becomes more dependent in that digital space, then there's more incentives for people to manipulate us and move their agendas forward through it.
All right, Gene, real quickly before we let you go, I mean, your backstory is really fascinating, right? Former Green Beret, et cetera. You're just out with a new book. Talk to us about that. What's it about?
Thank you. Thanks, Martin.
Yeah.
I just recently published a memoir called The Second Shot, A Green Beret's Last Mission. It chronicles some serendipitous events in my life from childhood all the way through West Point, U.S. Army Special Forces, ended up leading to a failed mission against the Abu Sayyaf in one of my 4 combat tours in Iraq and Philippines. A failed mission against Abu Sayyaf in 2006 left 3 lieutenants still alive that several years after I'd left the military, kidnapped a family friend named Evelyn Chang out of Pom Pom Island in Malaysia and spirited her back into the jungles in southern Philippines. It's part of the story, but over a period of about a month, I put together a team of Scout Rangers and NICA operatives, that's the Filipino CIA, and was able to effect a recovery of Evelyn. We were able to put a tracking device in the ransom money and the electronics in the exchange that vectored in the Scout Rangers to destroy the 80-person Abu Sayyaf terrorist group. So it's a story that talks a lot about also this aspect of my background from a public service crisis response, personal crisis response in terms of kidnap and ransom scenario, and now into my company, Blackpanda, of private sector digital crisis response. And
wow.
It's 25 years now in my career. It's interesting to look back and realize this is what I was placed on earth to do.
Evolution from crisis and crisis management is a remarkable
Is there a movie coming?
So we are in discussions with Temple Hill Entertainment, Marty Bowen and John Fisher, who did Maze Runner, First Man, Twilight, and in discussions with Simu Liu, the actor from Shang-Chi from Marvel, to play the lead actor. So we're working on it. It's something in the midst. It's a fun side project, I guess you'd call it, from my day job at Blackpanda.
Terrific. What a story. All right, Gene, excellent. Thanks for dropping by. Love to see you. Come back see us again very soon. Gene, you there from Blackpanda joining us live.